As of this recording, there are only 50 days left in 2024, and the reality is everyone who says I'm gonna wait till January 1st to make a change, they never actually make a change. So by the time you watch this, you'll have 40 some odd days to finish 2024 strong, and that is the entire point of this video. I want to make a case for you, a bull case on why now is a great time to take a prop firm challenge, because you can take a challenge at any point throughout the year, but there are certain variables in the market that will make it easier or more difficult for you to pass. And so in today's video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why now is not only a great time to take a challenge, but why also this might be the easiest time of 2024 to take a challenge. So without further ado, let's get into it. The very first case, and this is coming from a Pit Munch email, it is the #1 daily email for traders. You can subscribe down below, 27,000 plus readers. The first reason is Trump is back. Regardless of your politics, why does this matter for taking a prop firm challenge? I'm going to tell you. The reason is because volatility is your friend. We have all traded those markets and those days and weeks and months when the market only moves sideways. If the market is only moving 1 or 2 pips a day, yes, that's an exaggeration, but if the market is only moving a couple of pips a day, there's not going to be enough opportunity, enough movement, enough volatility for you to actually catch a good trade. So it seems counterintuitive. Traders, we often fear volatility. We fear these crazy moves, but that's when the most amount of money can be made. And with Trump being elected, that is exactly what's happening. So if we take a quick look at the market, you can see Bitcoin has been absolutely ripping higher, almost at $83,000 as of this recording. Gold has been crashing. The dollar has been flying. This is the 1 hour chart, so you can see just how much movement is taking place here. The S&P 500 is up over $6,000. So with Trump being elected, everyone is viewing this as pro-US economy, good for the dollar, good for crypto, and the market's moving. So you need this volatility to find setups and to make money. The second reason why now is an excellent time to take a prop firm challenge is because on top of Trump getting elected, there's even more stimulus coming in the form of the Federal Reserve. So throughout 2024, the entire story behind the market, it was inflation and what the Federal Reserve is going to do. And everybody throughout this year has been waiting for the Fed to cut interest rates. Why? Because when the Fed cuts interest rates, money enters the system, there's stimulus, businesses can borrow for cheaper, and that leads to one thing. It leads to equities, it leads to stocks getting pumped, going higher. It leads to a weaker dollar, it leads to all kinds of people making money. And that is what we are seeing. Just last week, the Federal Reserve cut interest rates by 0.25%. Rates are starting to come down, and the market is absolutely loving it. So Trump alone would be a great reason for the market to move, but that combined with the Federal Reserve stimulus that we are beginning to see, interest rates getting cut, the market is absolutely loving it, and we can see that based on what I showed just previously. Now, it's important that we take a big picture view of this. I believe that fundamentals drive technicals. You have a fundamental idea that dictates whether you're buying or selling an asset, and then you use technicals to find the very best entry point. I want to dive into this a little bit deeper. Yes, there's volatility, but the volatility is only helpful for us if we understand what's going on and we understand how to position ourselves. So to be specific, what we're seeing right now is a risk on sentiment. The market is always shifting between risk on and risk off. What that means is investors and traders around the world are always fluctuating between thinking, yeah, I'm feeling good about the economy, about the world. I want to make money. I want to take on more risk. I have more of a risk appetite. And other times they're saying, ooh, I'm fearful. I want to be in something safe. I don't want to take on risk. The most obvious example would be March 2020. Everyone around the world was freaking out. That was a major risk off sentiment. Nobody wanted to be in the stock market, which is why stocks dropped. Nobody wanted to be in crypto, which is why crypto tanked. Everyone wanted to be in the US dollar. The US dollar is king, as they say, and so that's why it did well. Whereas if we look at post 2020, starting in 2021, that completely shifted. All of a sudden, everyone was starting to feel more optimistic, and everyone flooded into the stock market, and that's why we have had this historic bull run. That happens on small time frames, medium time frames, and large time frames. And what we're seeing right now is a risk on sentiment. So what does that mean for traders, specifically, say, Forex traders? It means that you want to combine a strong currency with a weak currency for there to be the largest amount of movement. An example of this would be one of our beloved FX pairs, pound yen. That's pound CAD. Pound yen is a great asset to trade. Why? Because the yen is a safe haven. People flood into the yen when times are bad. But right now, everyone's saying, oh, times are good, which means I want to be buying the pound yen. And so that dictates how I'd be looking at this chart. I'd be looking for buy opportunities. If we look on a larger time frame, the 4 hour, you could see we're in an uptrend. Why are we in an uptrend? For the exact reason that I just told you. Another example could be Aussie US. Aussie US, I haven't looked at this chart, but if we do look at it, I can guarantee you that it is dropping substantially. Look at that. 4 hour chart, it's dropping. Why? Because the US dollar is strong. Now the US dollar is a little bit of an outlier here because when times are good, people flood into equities and they're not holding dollars. But that's really the high picture overview of what's going on. We're in a risk on sentiment. We know that there's a whole bunch of volatility. Volatility is our friend, and we know how we have to position ourselves in accordance with that volatility. Of course, this is not financial advice. We're just sharing the vibes of what we're looking at. Moving forward, number 3, we have the annual gold bull run. If you're not familiar with the gold bull run, the December gold bull run, for whatever reason, I haven't done the research in over a year, so I can't tell you the exact reasons behind it. I just know that historically, what we see is we see gold finishing a lot higher by the end of December than it starts December with. Now, this sometimes plays a factor in November as well. Sometimes we see it earlier on, which we saw a few years ago. So it's not an exact science, but as a general rule of thumb, I like to look for buys on gold in December. Again, not financial advice, but this is again an opportunity to think, okay, if I'm going to be taking a prop firm challenge, how do I approach this? What are going to be the trading opportunities? I don't want to be taking a challenge when there's no movement. So you don't really want to be taking a challenge, January 1st. You want to be taking it when things are moving, and right now things are moving very, very quickly. And the charts are lining up nicely with this. You wouldn't want to enter December 1st with gold at an all-time high. You want there to be room to move higher, and we are seeing that. Because the dollar is so strong with Trump getting elected, we're starting to see a nice retracement from the historic run that we have seen on gold, hitting almost 2,800. It almost got there, went up to 2,780. I would want to do a high-level analysis on this on the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly chart, look at the very best technical confluences. But I know because of my fundamental analysis, I know that now I'm looking for buys, I'm not looking for sells. That doesn't mean on a smaller time frame you couldn't look for a short, but for those big trades, those trades that are going to help us get 3, 4, 5% on a challenge in a single trade, this is the type of analysis that I want to do. The 4th reason for why it is now an excellent time to take a prop firm challenge is because Black Friday deals are on the way. Now at Lark, we are going to have an excellent, as always, Black Friday promotion. But I've always said, as a trader myself, you want to pick a couple of firms, 2 or 3 firms, you want to go all in on them. And I am confident that, as usual, we will see excellent promotions for Black Friday. Moving on to number 5. Here is the deal. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a motivational message. Listen, if you are watching this and you are not yet funded and you've been trading throughout 2024, the harsh reality is something needs to change. Something is not working for you. I can speak from personal experience. I was trading for 5 years without making any money. Why? Because I was doing something wrong. I needed to make a change, and I wasn't making that change. I was just going around and around in circles doing the same thing over and over again, and that is not going to cut it. If you actually want to stand out from the crowd, remember, only 10% of traders actually pass a challenge. You need to do something differently and ask yourself, what do you actually want out of trading? Are you actually going to make it a reality, or are you just disguising productivity as procrastination? If you were to talk to a friend who is in the exact same position as you, somebody who is not where they want to be in their trading career, what advice would you give to them? We need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. The answer that you would say to this friend is what you need to apply to yourself. So for me, this won't apply to everyone, but I only started making money. I only got funded with FTMO back in 2021 when I went all in. When I quit my job, I had a year's worth of expenses in the bank, and I needed to make it work. My back was up against a wall. So ultimately, the 5th point is that you are running out of time. Before you know it, it'll be January 1st, and we'll be posting a video on this channel, how to get funded in 2025, and you don't want to have to watch that video. You want to start the year strong, not trying to get funded. This was a little bit of a different video, so I would really appreciate if you guys shared in the comments what you thought. Do you like this style, this casual style, showing my screen and whatnot? I'd really appreciate it. And listen, 2024 is coming to an end, so make it the best end that you can possibly have. And as always, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.